done before, and the regulators like central bank, the Ministry of Finance started taking note of us. Okay, that you have done something which we have never seen before, and we like it. Can you do it bigger and faster? Okay, so yeah, so the technology continued, but we got hit by COVID. Of course, in March of 2020, we got hit by COVID. So that period, many people say it was a bad period, business went down and all. I would say no, Alhamdulillah, that was one of the best periods for us. Okay, in our collection of funds, because people were free. They were looking something to do, so they were all watching, the phone. So we had so many advertisements where can you put money for zakat and wakaf and all. People were giving a lot of funds. But other good thing that also happened during those 3 months of COVID lockdown, we spin out 2 new businesses out of the Fintera. One was a Islamic microfinance for supply chain financing. So basically, these are for small retailers. All the small retailer side of the road, they have working capital. Every week they go and buy the supplies for the shop, right? And then they sell, right? They make a small profit. Then they use the working capital. They go and top up again the products. So we started that the products that they were buying, we were willing to finance them using commodity murabaha. So we use supply chain commodity murabaha again on technology platform, no face to face. They just go into our mobile app. Okay, it is called HAL Capital, HAL Capital. Licensed, one license from Central Bank of Kenya, second license from Central Bank of Oman is already running. So these retailers will come on the platform. Okay, it's not for public, but you can see it is there. It's not for public. You have to be a member to finance your products, and you select all the products that you want to order. So you're ordering your noodles, you're ordering your tea, your milk, and sugar and all to put in your shop. So when you're checking out, you want to pay. So the system asks you, do you want to pay using your e-money, or you want to take a murabaha loan and pay with the murabaha loan? Okay, with a fixed profit share, no interest, fixed profit share. Okay, so we put a profit share which was lower than the normal market rate. In Kenya, the market rate at that time was 2% per week. Because these are very small. The shops sell the product within 1 week. They don't keep for a long time. So the finance companies were charging 2%. We came in at half the price. So we suddenly captured the market. 20,000 retailers are on the platform right now, benefiting from commodity murabaha. Is a murabaha we are giving them. So basically I'm saying, you have a shop, you know how to sell, but you don't have the finance. I have the finance. So I put my money, I buy the product for you, I'll give you, you sell. But while the product is in your shop, the product actually belongs to me. So we are like a partner. Okay? Once you sell, since we have agreed on the profit, so you sell, example, 1,000 naira, but you return back to me 1,100 naira. Okay? So how can we trust these people? So we created a trust, mechanism that we actually go and, to see what is the repayment. Can they repay on time? Okay? So we give them next week more money. We also talk to their family members to get some reference about them. And we also started going to their mosque to ask the imam, do they come and pray? Is he a good guy? Right? Of course, it's not available to everybody, but whoever we were giving this credit to, we get their reference. Based on the reference, we started giving them more and more money. Believe me, now already 4 to 5 years have passed running that business. We have partners in Kenya and Oman, they run it. The delinquency rate, meaning non-payments, right, is less than 0.05%. Because everybody knows this is right, and we raise cash wakaf. So the money, so initially we put in $100,000 US, cash wakaf, and that cash wakaf keeps growing. Right now it is coming close to $4 million US. The money is just growing and growing and growing because it's rotating. The maximum length of the loan is 4 weeks, 1 month. 1 week, 2, 3, or 4. Cannot be more than 4. Because these are for small retailers. In Kenya, they call them dukka, the guy selling side of the road. They don't even have a proper shop. Just a small table selling things. Finance for them. So the central bank is very happy because the credit and the microfinance companies cannot come to this level and support them. and their interest rates are very high. And they also look at what is the security. I'm giving you a financing, what is the security, right? These people don't even have an address. If you say, where do you live? One day he stays here, one day he stays there. So there is no address, right? How are you going to help him? So this was one project, okay? And then during the lockdown also we started another project, which is a plantations project in Malaysia. And maybe a little bit later I'll reflect on it. So, that was the journey where we created this company, and then it grew from there into multiple verticals. The team size is about 52 people, so not big. And that's the beauty of technology. That when you are running your business using technology, you don't need to have a very big manpower, okay? One guy can do like 10 people's job, okay? It's very, very efficient, okay? So we have about 52 staff, and we are based in 4 countries. Offices registered in 4 countries: Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Abu Dhabi for the Middle East region. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. Okay. So that journey grew. Now, see, I keep referring and coming back to Islamic social finance. I know all of you maybe are more qualified because you are on the ground dealing with this day in, day out, right? Maybe I'm more, I wouldn't call academic, but maybe I'm more idealist, okay? So let me give you a perspective of social finance that I don't think you would have heard before, okay? This is a very unique, my perspective, which is if you tell a businessman to go and do sadaqah, zakat and wakaf, they look at this institution from a different view as compared to you look at it from the religious point of view, okay? So let me take the religious point of view out of it and make it completely from a business point of view. And see, when we say business, I'm talking about accounting, finance, banking, okay? And maybe a little bit of law, okay? But not Sharia law, just the general law. See, sadaqah is an institution which is non-mandatory. Okay, so just hear me out. I know many of you will argue with me later on, and I got a lot of argument in the class. Okay, sadaqah is non-compulsory. If you decide today that I'm never going to give sadaqah in my life, God cannot punish you. It is voluntary. You give is good for you. You don't give is not bad for you. We're talking about sadaqah, right? Okay, so let's separate. Sadaqah jariyah is different. Okay, so sadaqah. So sadaqah is voluntary, meaning outside the mosque you see a poor person, you give money. Okay, somebody come knocking at your door, you have some food ready, you take part of the food, you give to them. All right. So if the guy knocks the door and you don't give him anything, will God punish you? No. Okay. So it is voluntary. You give is very good for you. If you don't give, it's not bad for you. And again, please don't take me literally. I'm not promoting that don't do sadaqah. Okay, okay. So some people say, Sheikh, are you telling us we shouldn't give sadaqah? No, I'm giving you a perspective, way of thinking only, a different way of thinking. Okay. And sadaqah, think of it that when you give sadaqah, say you give 1 naira in sadaqah, how many rewards does God give us? How many points or how many reward God give us? So everybody will have different answer for that. So let's just take it, God will give us 1 point. And that 1 point, 1 credit, okay, credit, because we're talking about business, accounting, credit and debit. That 1 credit, you will only see it on Day of Judgment. If I try to cash the credit today, it's not possible. Okay? Yes, God will give certain consideration because you have a lot of credit, so He'll give you certain easy life. Okay? But actually you will see those credit on Day of Judgment. How about when you commit a sin or you do something wrong? What happens? Will Allah take away those credit points from you or deduct? No. Allah will create another ledger called the debit ledger, accounting, right? You do good, you get credit. You do bad, you get debits. So debits minus your credit, your net balance is going to decide where you go, right? You go to the greener side or you go to the red side, right? This is how business people see, right? Because business people is every time they spend money, what they're thinking in their mind is, what do I get back? What is in it for me? I don't care about anything. I just care, what do I get? So when I tell them that this is what the accounting will happen, you will not see your benefit now, but the Quran testifies, our beloved Prophet testifies that credit will wait for you in the hereafter. Okay, and you will already feel it. The time you die and they put you in the grave, you will already feel the cold wind. You will feel the cold. Okay, so it's not that you're going to be waiting for forever. Okay, so this is the perspective that a businessman sees sadaqah. Okay, about zakat, many people say zakat is tax. It's like tax. Every year I have to pay. I have to calculate my earning, my savings, my net asset. I calculate from there, and then I have 2.5% I have to apply, and I pay. It's very similar to tax. Zakat is tax. Zakat is not tax. Okay, don't be confused. Zakat is not tax. Zakat is actually a cleansing fund. So most Islamic banks around the world have started using this terminology called cleansing fund. Cleansing fund is basically is just like you make a mistake, you pay a fine. When you pay a fine, your situation becomes normal again. So, you know, they put a red light, red traffic light, and the police standing there. But you go through the red light. So he will stop you and he will say, here's the fine, you have to pay 1,000. But as soon as you pay 1,000, the situation is clear, you continue. Okay? So the problem that you entered, the problem is cleared. So this is what zakat is, because what Allah is telling us is that in all our transactions, whether sometimes even talking, sometimes our intention, our daily transaction, our words can have harm. Okay? We didn't intend it, but it can have harm. So those harms are recorded in your debit ledger. So if you want to clear your debit ledger before you die, give zakat. Okay, give zakat. So from your zakat, right, it will clear some of the debit points. Zakat is not giving you credit. Zakat is actually cleaning your debits. So now your debit has become less. So less debit minus credit for sure is you are in net positive. Higher chances you will go in paradise. Right? This is how business people are thinking today. Even to give zakat, they're thinking, what is in it for me? I already give the government tax. Now you come, you're asking me for zakat. This is like double tax, right? So you say, no. This tax or this is a cleansing fund, and this is what the money will do for you. Then they say, okay, I agree. Okay, and they'll give you some zakat. So what has also happened in Malaysia, Indonesia, for the last 5+ years, 2020 onwards, we lobbied the lawmakers, the parliament, that it looks like it is double tax. Okay, and we justified to them that what you do, if somebody gives zakat, end of the year when they pay their tax and they do their tax return, right, you give them credit on their tax return for the zakat. So for the last 3 years in Malaysia, zakat and wakaf is 100% tax free. So if you give zakat, end of the year the government will return back your money. Right? Because otherwise it's twice, meaning my net income is getting out twice. Once I'm paying the government tax, once I'm paying to the zakat. But the net result is the same, because my tax money is supposed to take care of certain activity. But my zakat also is taking care of the same activity. So why do I have to pay 2 times? So if I pay zakat, then it will contra off from my tax end of the year. So that is already in place in Malaysia. So I was sharing with Brother Imam and the rest of the group here that where Nigeria is today, we were there in 2016. We were fighting in 2016 and 17 with the government for awareness. Believe me, even the government didn't understand what is wakaf. They thought it's all religious practices. Go and do it in the mosque. Why you are coming to the central bank talking about wakaf and zakat? Why are you coming to the Ministry of Finance to talk about zakat and wakaf? They say no. This is historically our financial institution. In history, Islam never had banks. We never had credit unions. We never had microfinance. This is new inventions. In the olden days, we had only 3 institutions: Baitul Mal, Zakat, and Wakaf. Tell me any other institution. I know many will say Sadaqah. Sadaqah is not an institution. It's up to you. You give okay, you don't give not okay. It is also okay. Right? So in terms of institution, it's only 3 institutions. So how do we now integrate those 3 institutions into the current financial system, which is central bank, monetary authority, and the Ministry of Finance? Okay, and within them is the taxation. right? Tax is within the Ministry of Finance. So we need to first educate them by similar sessions like this. And believe me, we have been doing a lot of education. We have been conducting the Global Wakaf Conference. I saw our brother Saifuddin has been to the Global Wakaf Conference last year in Morocco. We have been financing that for last 10 years. Okay. So that's financed by Fintera. Yes. Dr. Ghazali was representing us. Yes. So that Dr. Ghazali and Noor Asia. Okay. Yes, they were there. And previous year to that was in Pakistan. So every year the conference moves to different. In 2019, when we had the conference in Malaysia, we invited the Sultan of Sokoto and he came to Malaysia. We invited Prince Bandar from Saudi Arabia, he came. We had the Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia. We had all the chairmen of all the Waqafs and Zakat and all the institutions, nearly 750. Inshallah. So there should be one happening at the end of this year or early next year. We have not decided whether Kuala Lumpur or Riyadh. It will be one of the places. Okay, inshallah, you'll get the invitation. So the Global Wakaf Conference has created a lot of interest by the regulators, by the Islamic Bank to be part of the Islamic social finance. Okay, so now if I go back into Zakat, right, and you say it is cleansing fund, what kind of points do you get? You're getting only deduction of your debits. You're not getting any credit. Okay, so if you don't give, you will get punished. If you give, okay, is just your debit points are deducted, okay, are reduced. That is all. Okay. How about Wakaf? See, Wakaf, I know in Nigeria, historically you lost it because of the colonial and all that, right? Yeah. So there are no Wakaf laws. I remember in the 80s and all that, there was no Wakaf law. Wakaf law only started coming up in the 90s, right? But if you look at the practice of Wakaf, I think it's hardly few years. There is no practice. Where are the Wakaf properties? What is the quantity of Wakaf, right? Is, say, in front of the Sultan Palace is the Sultan Bello Mosque. Is that mosque a Wakaf? We don't know, because all the documents are lost. This is what the colonials did. Wherever they went the Muslim lands, the first thing they did was they got rid of the Wakaf or the land office. They burned that, all the documents. So today, if you look at Wakafs around the world, right, of course, Turkey, right, Ottoman Empire is notable for its Wakafs. The Mughal Empire, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh is very well known for its Wakaf. And the other one is Iran, the Persian Empire, right, what we know as Iran. The Shia Wakafs are very, very large, and they believe in Wakaf. It's just that, unfortunately, they're Shia, right? Otherwise, the practice of Wakaf is very large with them. So whether it is Iran, Bahrain, lot of Shias there as well, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, of course, some provinces in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So this is kind of, the circle of the Shia. But anyway, that is their mazhab, but I'm looking at it from the Wakaf practice. Their Wakafs are very well